receiver in NFL history. Tonight's Locker Room Cam brought to you by Brickhouse Nutrition. Build better nutrition one brick at a time at brickhousenutrition.com. The Crazy Hawaiian has been waiting for 9 months to get back here and defend his super heavyweight title, and the time has come. No need to cut weight when there's no limit, so he's coming in at a svelte 385 pounds. Danie Van Heerden not far behind in the weight department. Both of the South Africans' wins have come by knockout, and he's looking for more, and that would solidify the super heavyweight strap. Power Slap 8, the Crazy Hawaiian versus Van Heerden is presented by Monster Energy. Unleash the Beast. What a night it has been at the Fontainebleau, and what a better way to cap things off than these two monsters squaring off for the title. And the table, once again, will go up for a final time here at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. It will be the 17th professional slap fight for the Crazy Hawaiian, one of the pioneers of the game, and you can see he's a minus 270 favorite in his very first title defense. Power Slap's first super heavyweight champion, the Crazy Hawaiian, begins the next chapter of his career tonight, and he's got a tough challenge ahead of him in South African powerhouse Danie Van Heerden. Koa Viernes, the Crazy Hawaiian.
When I get up in there, I represent Hawaii. This is all Hawaii all the way. This sport means the world to me. It's my new life. I can finally say I made my mom proud, my dad proud, my family proud, Hawaii proud. I'm really passionate about this. This is my sport. No one's done what I've done in the sport. I'm ready to defend my belt against anybody and everybody in the world. I've been working hard. I know what this means to me and my legacy. When I'm gone, they're gonna talk about the great. I wanna be the greatest. As a true pioneer, I believe I got the best chin in the sport. I don't think there's anybody out there that's gonna rock me, put me on my ass. Danie's a character. He deserves this shot. There's a line of people that deserve a shot at this title. It's just a line of people that are gonna fall under my reign. I'm gonna put my division on blast. If they're not scared of me yet, you're gonna be. You can go up there and try your best, but at the end of the day, you have to face me. Good luck.
My nickname Pitbull comes from I'm not giving up. Doesn't matter how difficult the road is, if I put my mind on it, I will get it. The moment I channel the Pitbull, as soon as I step on the stage, there's no words for me to tell you how much this means to me to bring back the belt to South Africa. Dricus is the middleweight UFC champion. He's done it. This tells me this is possible. This opportunity is not going to waste because it's been something I've dreamed about since I started Power Slap. I haven't tasted that belt yet. I do not think Crazy's got the hunger I've got for that belt. He's been holding on for it for a while now, and he should pass it on. I'm definitely ready for all 5 rounds, but like I said, Crazy's going down on 3, and I'm going to take that belt to South Africa.
I'm gonna hit you, you're gonna hit the table, and then hit the ground, then hit the rope. I'm gonna knock this guy out.
You've never faced me before. You've never faced my power. You should not have taken this fight. I'm taking that belt home.
Danie Pitbull Van Heerden, his first main event, coming in more focused than ever. Owns an appliance repair company in Pretoria, South Africa. Also has more than 30 pro fights in various combat sports. Says he's not training in MMA as much because he wants to focus on flexibility. He believes that is of the utmost importance in stunt fighting.
Of course. I mean, this man's done a lot of different combat sports, so he does know what he's talking about. Very experienced, and flexibility, believe it or not, is so important. It means that he will be looser, he will be quicker. And look at the size of the man. He's going to have the power already. But if you just add an extra bit of speed, if you can wind back even further to accentuate the power, he could put the Crazy Hawaiian to sleep. Now, of course, this is a massive opportunity for him. He's working out a lot. He wants to move to Las Vegas, actually. He's got the P1 visa. He wants to turn that into a green card and move out to America. He's always wanted to face the Crazy Hawaiian as well. Kind of always looked up to him. So for him now, getting a title fight, being the main event, international fight week, going up against the Crazy Hawaiian, he's a very happy man.
Doesn't just want to move to America, wants to move to Las Vegas. He wants to be here. He wants to be where it's all going on. This is a guy who has power. The crazy thing is, when he's up there on that stage standing next to the Crazy One, he doesn't look that big. He weighs 360 pounds.
Yeah, he's a big boy, but here's how he says the fight goes down. Slap 1, he wakes him up. Slap 2, he wears him down. And slap 3, the Crazy Hawaiian goes for a sleep. He gets knocked out.
Danie Van Heerden predicting that third round knockout. He certainly believes that he has the power to get the job done, which would earn him the super heavyweight title if he can take down this man. Crazy Hawaiian is just a massive human at 6'2", 385 pounds. This is 17th pro slap fight. His first time back on the power slap stage since winning the title last October. Born and raised in Hawaiian, Hawaii, now living with his fiancée and manager Malia, along with 6 children in Springfield, Missouri. I don't know how he has time to get anything done.
Yeah, listen, his children are so important to him. Obviously they are, but being able to give them a better life, being able to inspire them and do something with his own life is so important to him. He said dreams are now coming true. He's the Power Slap Super Heavyweight Champion. He's making some really good money. He's inspiring people. He's getting a name. He's getting recognized on the streets. And he said it feels so good when he's with his children and that happens, because they can see what he's doing, that he's doing positive things with his life. And look at that. That is a gigantic human being. He looks seriously pissed off. Danie, you would be shitting your pants right now if you were standing up there.
You're damn right. And I'll be honest with you, the first time we saw him, not really impressed by his power. But there's something to that. The power has gotten better seemingly with every single fight. He said his hands have never been quite right. There's always been some type of hand injury. His last fight, actually, which was the title fight against Kalani Bakamialo, he had to use both hands because he injured his right hand. Then he used his left. Then he went back to his right. 100% healthy now, so he plans on using a right all night long.
Yeah, that's right. And you're a certain hand dominant for a reason. Like my left is way stronger than my right because I'm left-handed. Well, now his right hand, as you just mentioned, fully healed. So I'm expecting some huge power and a big improvement. But even still, last time out, when he won the belt, it was a knockout. It was a stoppage in round 2 against a really tough, big, dangerous opponent. But right now, he's just absolutely soaking up this moment, and rightly so. He's been around this sport for a very long time. 15-1 in slap contest overall, 3-0 in power slap.
I'm just laughing because I was looking at Robert Trujillo, the red corner coach, standing behind him. It looked like he could eat him. Trujillo's a lightweight.
He's just a little snack.
Oh, my gosh. He is absolutely massive. He knows how to play the game. He loves to play to the crowd.
Yeah, but Danie Van Heerden, though, let's be honest, he's a tough customer. Both of these guys are. Van Heerden been around forever. A lot of combat sports.
And Danie Van Heerden was something we have yet to see on the Power Slap stage, a pair of vintage Patrick Ewing sneakers. Going old school. Tail of the tape brought to you by Estrella Jalisco, an authentic Cerveza Dorado and the official beer of Power Slap. 3 years separate these two in age. Van Heerden is the older man. The Crazy Hawaiian, a -270 favorite, tipping the scales at 420 pounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Dallas Hahn and Executive Director Jeff Mullen. Our judges stateside are Tim Cheatham, Saul Diamato, and Junichiro Kamijo. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. From the sold-out Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and the millions watching around the world on Rumble. This match is 5 rounds for the Power Slap Super Heavyweight Championship of the World. Presented by Rumble, bold and free. Download the Rumble app or visit rumble.com. Introducing first, in the blue corner, he stands 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 374 1/2 pounds. Out of Pretoria, South Africa, he is a number 4 ranked super heavyweight contender in the world. Danie, the Pitbull Van Heerden. And in the red corner, he stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 419 1/2 pounds. Out of Springfield, Missouri, by way of Waianae, Hawaii. He is the undisputed Power Slap Super Heavyweight Champion of the world. The Crazy Hawaiian. And when the action begins, your referee in charge, Mark Smith. Winner of the coin toss and striking first, the Crazy Hawaiian.
Sign up to the Crypto.com app with the code POWER and make a single purchase of $50 or more. Our main event has arrived.
Look at the size of the waist slightly touching. Slightly touched.
You know, a lot of guys try to lean forward so they can lean against the table to get a little balance.
Yeah.
These guys don't have to lean. Their belly just naturally touches it.
Well, I'm glad you said that.
All right, he will measure.
They don't need to lean.
What they measure?
The table supports the belly. Have to be a strong table, though, as well.
Agreed.
Stop!
Everything's strong
Stop!
with these guys.
Time!
What's up?
Take all that stuff out of your hand.
Oh, too much
All
chop.
right, reset. Right, on 1.
Mark Smith doesn't mess around.
Yeah. So right on 1.
Right on 1.
Oh, was that a flinch?
Yeah, it was a
good
little
slap.
flinchy to me.
Oh, man.
Wait. Don't put that much powder in your hand again.
I tell you, the fans, they saw it. There's a guy over here to my right, and he is very animated.
This guy with the glasses on here?
Yeah, he was not happy. It's great to see, though, the fans being so fans being so passionate.
I love it. So,
Time.
all right, we're
Instant replay.
instant replay right now, according to Mark Smith, trying to figure out whether that was a flinch or not, but that looked like a flinch to me, no doubt about it. Oh, yeah.
There's no question that was a flinch. And I tell you what, if they don't call that
He hits his shoulder first.
We
And
have a foul.
some of the other ones that they've called tonight,
1 point, clubbing.
they're calling clubbing.
1 point, clubbing.
I think he clubbed because it was a flinch.
3 points of contact.
hold on. The Hawaiian's losing a point.
Yeah,
Clock, you
for
guys.
clubbing.
insane.
I think you and I need to do a seminar.
This is insane.
We need to lead a seminar.
I like Danie van Heerden, but he's a flinching son of a bitch, right? That is factual. Hawaiian loses a point. This is a title fight as well.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Waist touching. Chin out.
Now, the good news is in a 5-round fight, you get 3 fouls
Recover. You can
to be DQ'd, so only 2 more for the crazy Hawaiian. Let's see what Danie van Heerden can deliver here.
Look at the shoulders on Van Heerden,
1. Hold still.
where it's a lot of flexibility.
They're going to call flinching. He leaned into it.
He did. He definitely did. I was going to say something.
Danie, would you like to slap again? It's a foul
Yes,
on him
I
for
would.
flinching.
Yeah.
Would you like to slap
No shit,
again?
Sherlock.
He will
Let's
slap
go.
again.
But I do feel for him because he should have had a flinching, an extra shot, you know?
Got to hold still.
Yeah, that sucks though in a title fight.
All right, so
Waist touching. Behind your back. Recover. Hold still. Don't
Look
move.
at Van Heerden, loving it.
he's ready.
Hand count.
No point deduction on the
Right,
flinch,
on
but
three.
Van
That's your
Heerden
measure.
obviously going again.
1, 2.
Nice blow.
Good slap.
Eats it up.
Yes, he does.
He's doing the little thing, he's doing the motion, but I think he was like halfway through going, oh, that really hurt, that really hurt.
My jaw's a little sore. This was a nice,
He's still putting a
crispy,
lot of powder in
clean
his
strike
hands,
from the
though.
South African.
Boom, straight through. Nice shot, clean, on target. Good follow through. But no problem for the crazy Hawaiian.
All right, remember, 1 foul, 1 point deducted. He was called for flinching, but they get a point
Take some of that off
deducted,
your
so
hand. Recover. All right,
clean
hand
strike
count.
here. Definitely what's needed for the
On
crazy
2.
Hawaiian here in round 2.
Right, on 2 with the measure. That's your measure. 1.
It's a clean.
I don't know if he's going to be able to get up.
I don't know.
That's a big load.
7.
I don't know.
He's up. He's good.
All right, walk to me.
Is he?
I don't know.
Is he?
I don't know.
Big decision for Mark Smith here.
No.
Walk to me
He's
this
not
way.
good. He's not
Big
good.
he's doing a little sidestep.
He's doing a sideways shuffle.
He's in, man, here and
The
recovered.
skin of his teeth.
Barely.
Oh,
He's still not all there.
no. He's like, where am I?
He's leaning on Damien DeBell.
Oh, listen to them as well.
He doesn't know what continent he's on right now.
He has no idea. He thinks he's back home in South Africa.
What? All right, time. Time.
They're fixing the cotton ball in the ear.
Are you good?
That's a load going down. It takes a minute to get
I
back
tell
up to
you
your
what.
feet, Bisping.
I was like, good luck catching him. You know, Forrest Griffin, they're going to break him. Forrest is nice and slim these days. They'll snap him in half.
Recover. Wait.
That was his brother
Good step.
looking on in the background.
Waist touching.
Look, they bring in the
What's your
extra
hand? What's your
catcher.
count? All right, must
They bring in the
measure.
super
Right,
heavyweight
on 3.
catcher.
That's your measure.
Hey, what's good for the goose is
1.
good for the gander. Let's see what
2.
Van Heerden has. Not enough.
No, he lost a little firepower.
Good slap.
Doesn't have all the gas in the tank right now.
Stay on the inside,
Yeah,
man.
if I'm the Hawaiian, though, I'm like, come on, let's get going. Let's get round 3
I
on the
agree.
way.
So because of the first round penalty, it's tied right now.
Yeah, I mean, but the momentum is certainly shifting toward the
no
crazy
doubt.
Hawaiian, yeah. But yeah, no,
Ready, let's
all
go.
even going into round 3.
What a huge slap this is going to be for the crazy Hawaiian.
Oh, and the face on Van Heerden is like, that didn't feel good. I've got to do it again. I've got to take another one. And the Hawaiian's walking up. He's strutting up. He's got a pep in his step. He's got power in the slap.
Right, on 2.
He's about to
with the
give Van
measure.
Heerden
That's your
a
measure.
nice little nap.
Let's see if he can finish him here. No. He stumbled it, but it was,
He's down.
he's going down again.
It's a delayed reaction.
That means he was hurt from the last one, a little residual effect.
7, 8. Walk to me.
Not as bad as the last
It was
one.
a glancing blow.
Still good.
Just a glancing blow.
Side step. All right.
Everybody in this building wants to see one of these giants fall.
I know, it's awful. We're all just praying. Can one of them just get knocked out and give us the excitement that we want?
Fans on their feet, cheering on to Crazy Hawaiian. Let's see if Danie Van Heerden can pull off the miracle. It was even going into this round, but
Recover.
he has clearly been rocked a couple of times. Needs a big shot here in round 3.
Well, the man's got heart. He's had a lot of mixed martial arts fights. He's got a winning
Right
record.
hand on 3.
He's going to go right on
That's
3.
your measure.
Big windup.
2.
He's kind of falling apart a little bit.
Good
Crazy
slap.
Hawaiian.
It wasn't the worst slap, but you can see he's throwing everything he has into these, and he just doesn't have that much juice left right
He's
now.
kind of falling apart a little bit. The concussive blows that he's taken, hitting the canvas on a couple of occasions. The form's gone out the window.
That's round 4.
The confidence of the Hawaiian is growing like crazy.
The Crazy Hawaiian is one clean shot away from seeing
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and get
the big
set.
South
Spot
African on the
touching.
ground.
yeah. Get ready to catch him, boys. I think Van Heerden is going down on this one. I mean, there's been 3 in a row where he's eventually gone down. How much can one man take?
Recover. And count.
Can you picture it right now? If the Crazy Hawaiian wins this, a super heavyweight showdown with Dumpling, my God, how great would that be?
USA versus Russia. He's good. Oh, I like it. He's talking to him.
Good slap.
He fell forward instead of backward. The table saved him. But I will say this, the Crazy Hawaiian still hasn't been able to land a similar slap to that first one that stumbled Van Heerden. This is good, not great. It was the second round slap that really got him.
Yeah, he gets right up in his face. I would love to know what he said to him. Probably said, it's okay, man. Come on, go down. Go on, just go down. Don't fight it.
All right, let's get set and hold still.
I don't know if Van Heerden's saying much of anything. It's the Crazy Hawaiian doing all the talking.
Recover. Hand count.
I'm guessing at this point in round 4, Van Heerden needs a knockout victory in these final 2 rounds. He's going to have 2 more chances. Here's the first one.
2.
Good, but not good enough. By the way, I would probably give Van Heerden this round.
Really? I think you're out of your mind.
You think I'm crazy?
Yeah, like a crazy Hawaiian.
You don't think that slap was harder than the Crazy Hawaiian slap?
I think it was a good slap. I think that Hawaiian had a better slap. I think he played it off better. The showmanship, the gamesmanship, getting in his face, talking to him, taking that slap like that, and then smiling at him. All that together.
I'm buying what you're selling now. All right, I've come all the way back around.
Recover.
That was a very close round, probably one of the closest.
I think it was the closest round by far.
Yeah.
All right. Right on
Now,
2.
final round, final slap.
Clean slap.
The Crazy
Cannot
Hawaiian.
have a foul.
1.
Hold on. Oh, he's good.
He's clean.
He's good.
Little love tap.
Everyone's disappointed. Everyone's devastated.
Van Heerden, if he can land one like he did the last time with maybe a little extra sauce on it, a little extra spicy slap.
Could you imagine he knocks him out in the final round? It's possible. We've seen it happen.
It would be a great finish. It would be
What
a great finish.
Comeback that would be.
Would be absolutely remarkable if Danie Van Heerden can get it done.
Let's go, Danie Van Heerden. Okay, I'm just calling for a finish. I don't have a favorite.
I hear you.
I just want to finish.
He's last man
Let's
up.
go. South Africa.
Last man up here, round 5, rocking his vintage Patrick Ewing basketball
10
shoes.
seconds, Danny.
Let's see what
Let's go. Get set.
Danie Van Heerden can
In the
do.
box.
I tell you what, though. The
Recover.
crazy Hawaiian has not
hold
been
that
rocked
position.
or
There's a bad
wobbled
slap. Put your hand
once.
with your
He's
count.
taken some hard shots,
Yes.
but he eats them
Right,
easy.
on 3 with the
I
message.
just don't know that Van Heerden has it in him.
I don't know either.
We'll find out right now.
1, 2.
Good shot.
It was a good shot. It wasn't good enough.
No.
And I do believe we will see the crazy Hawaiian retaining his belt after a huge second round shot that sent Van Heerden to the canvas.
Well, he was unlucky early because they deducted a point. I feel like Van Heerden flinched, but then rounds 2, 3, and 4. Was it 2, 3, and 4? I think it was. He almost hit the canvas every single time.
Yeah.
It was almost finished. The referee had to step in and count them, give him a 10 count and things like that. So I think it's pretty easy to judge, to be honest. But Van Heerden did well, came back into it towards the end.
Yeah. And what he's doing, he's looking at the slap and trying to lead it. Yeah. So.
Well, it really does depend on how they scored round 4. I initially thought that Van Heerden had a better slap. You said the whole time it was the crazy Hawaiian. It does. Listen, it's the interpretation of the judges, and you made a valid point. Van Heerden had already been rocked. He didn't have the same posture when he received the slap. He didn't have the same smile, the same reaction. The crazy Hawaiian was unaffected by almost every Van Heerden shot.
He was pretty much unaffected, put on the better shot, landed better shots, almost finished him 3 times. So for me, I think it's pretty clear. Although Danie Van Heerden did himself proud, represented South Africa to the fullest, he's looking good. He's still on his feet. He didn't go to sleep. And you never know.
And there he awaits, hoping to move to Las Vegas in the very near future. I will say this, no matter what happens in this fight, tremendous cojones by Danie Van Heerden to just hang in there and kind of survive and land some clean slaps at the end. Time now for the official decision presented by Kudo Protein Popcorn. Head to kudosnacks.com now and enter the promo code SLAP for 25% off your order.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 48-44, 47-45, and 47-45 for your winner by unanimous decision and still Power Slap Super Heavyweight Champion of the World, the Crazy Hawaiian.
I'm here with the winner and still the super heavyweight champion of the world, the Crazy Hawaiian. That was an all-out war, trading blow for blow, but you seemed to get madder and madder as time went on.
Yeah, I really wanted to keep my record of no clubs and no penalties, but I guess they got 20/20 vision over here.
But it was a unanimous decision. No one had any doubt. You were the winner. Another thing that you mentioned coming into this match, your right hand at 100% for the very first time in your career. Yep. How much of a difference did that make?
It was on point tonight, baby. Give it up to Pitbull. He made my mouth swollen as hell. Hey, he's a tough guy, man. Don't count him out. He got belts in all kinds of combat sports. That was a real athlete. Don't look at his stomach or mine. But that was a real athlete in there. So thank you, everybody, for coming out. I hope you guys get to where you guys get going safely. And remember, God is good.
God is good, especially right now, in your case. Still the champion, successful title defense. But we want to know, What's next? Maybe you versus Dumpling?
Yeah, I want dumplings so bad. Give me the dumpling! I'm hungry! Feed me!
To Crazy Hawaiian, congratulations.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. Everybody, God bless and good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, your super heavyweight champion, the Crazy Hawaiian.
A little Raul Rosas Chihuihui. That post-fight interview brought to you by 10X Health, Precision Nutrition Wellness. Go to 10xnutrition.com. What a night here at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. The welterweight belt changing hands with Anthony Babyface Blackburn winning, and the super heavyweight strap stays with the Crazy Hawaiian in front of a record-setting crowd here at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. Over 3,000 fans on hand here tonight, Bismarck.
Get this man a dumpling. That's all I've got to say. You got to love the Crazy Hawaiian because goes out there, has a tough fight against Danie van Heerden. Very close, but 2-3-4. He dropped him. They were 10-8 rounds. It was an easy scorecard. And round 4, by the way, I won that little debate.
You were right. You were
the judges gave it to me, but Danie got round 5. But straight away, he's calling out the dumpling. The man that had the biggest knockout here all evening, made the biggest impact, a massive star as well. And you know, the Crazy Hawaiian, this man is a showman. He's an absolute showman.
Gets it.
He's
He
good
just
on the
gets it.
microphone. He's got a chin. He can knock people out. The man's a superstar.
Well, we still don't know exactly when the next date is going to be, but I cannot wait to see the Crazy Hawaiian take on Dumpling. Here was Dumpling against Camille Marusarge. This was the first strike of the match, and Dumpling sitting the polar bear down. He was out for a while.
Oh, what a shot that was. And he let the world know, listen, this is who I am. This is what I'm capable of. And I want to see a fast track to a title shot. Put the Dumpling with the Crazy Hawaiian. 2 massive men, 2 knockout powers. That is going to be a tremendous match.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that that's going to happen. The only one that could maybe supersede him would be Dwayne Crespo,
yes,
who moved to super heavyweight and got the title, or got the win against the #1 contender. Paige Van Zandt, the biggest star to step on a power slap stage, gets a very impressive unanimous decision win tonight over Christine Wilmerance.
And she was great. Obviously, this is completely new for her. I mean, look at the speed. It's slow motion, but the speed of those slaps, the accuracy, she'd never done it before. There was no fouls whatsoever. She showed off a great chin. Of course, she's fought in the UFC for many years, done all kinds of combat sports, so we know she has a chin. But Wilmerance is tough. She has got some good power on her hands. Paige took it absolutely no problem. Solid victory.
All right, let's take a look now at the co-main. Emmanuel Muniz falling to Anthony Babyface Blackburn. It looked like when Blackburn found out he won the split decision, he was actually a little bit surprised. This was as close as they come. A tremendous title fight.
Yeah, back and forth, very, very close. And the reality is, it could have gone either way. It was kind of one of those matches. How do you score it? You know, what do you give more credit to? And the reaction on the face of Anthony Blackburn when he found out he won, the hands never came down for like 5 or 10 minutes. He was welling up. He was very, very emotional. I mean, look at this man. Fair play. It was a tough match. They both dished it out. They took a lot of punishment, and the man goes home as a champion. His family are here in the crowd as well. Just a beautiful moment that he'll always remember.
Spent a good portion of the last 2 months, did Anthony Blackburn, traveling around the country to visit family members, and seemingly everybody that he visited made the trek here to Las Vegas, and they were not disappointed tonight as he takes home the welterweight title. As for a look at the rest of the tremendous fights that went on tonight, here's a little real-time rewind.
There he is, Emmanuel Muniz. Pardon me, Isaiah Quinones.
Puerto Rican pretty boy.
That was
2.
Oh.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Here we go, the dumpling. Oh my God, the power. You see the way the head just snapped back?
Listen, this guy's a farmer in Russia, doesn't practice, doesn't work out. He's just just country strong, as they say, Michael.
Country strong, just country. I mean, we call them something else where I come from, but I'm not going to say it, you know what I mean? It's like they're just out there in the country bumpkins, you know, they're just lifting barrels of hay and throwing pigs and deers and stuff around. But whatever you got to do, right?
Yeah.
The man's got phenomenal power, unbelievable. And Marasage, the polar bear, he was on the canvas for quite some time.
He was.
It was kind of scary.
All right, here's a look at our champions. The Crazy Hawaiian holds on. Damien DeBell, who was coaching tonight, the heavyweight champ. Wolverine, light heavyweight. John Davis, the middleweight champ. And Anthony Blackburn, your new welterweight power slap champion. Man, I cannot wait to get back here again. Can we do this again next week, please? Power Slap 9 going to be coming to you at some point in the very near future. What a tremendous night here in Las Vegas. Thank you to the Fountain Blue Las Vegas for hosting us here tonight. So many stars. Some of the regulars were in the house. Some new ones were in the house. Props to Vernon Cathy, taking down Austin Turpin and then stealing his dance. Cam Newton was loving it. There's Max Crosby. He's always here. Steve will do it. And how about Dumpling? Making his presence felt here for the first time, impressing everybody, and the man that mattered most in Dana White. Paige Van Zandt, the biggest star yet in Power Slap, making her presence felt, saying, listen, this is too much fun. I can't walk away from this. I'm going to be back. We have a new welterweight champion in Anthony Babyface Blackburn. What a night here in Las Vegas. International Fight Week, and guess what? Tomorrow, UFC 303 is on the way. Thanks for watching on Rumble, everybody. For Michael Bisping, I'm Dan Hellie. Enjoy your weekend.